What if I told you that not all the zodiac signs came to the world just to live? What if there were signs that were chosen by God to protect souls, carry a secret spiritual mission, and act as true invisible guardians among us? Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, revealed for decades something few dared to investigate. 4 signs have been marked by a divine force to fulfill a purpose that goes far beyond human understanding. Have you ever felt that you were born with a greater purpose, if placed here to protect, guide, or even save people without understanding why? Have you ever had that feeling that your pain is spiritual training? That your losses, your keen intuition, and the goose stones you feel are not coincidental? Perhaps your soul is responding to the call of a hidden mission, a mission that the universe has entrusted only to the chosen ones. And the most mysterious of all, this revelation did not come from anyone. It came from Edgar Cayce, one of the greatest prophetic mediums in modern history, someone who accessed superior knowledge in a state of deep trance. He saw, predicted, and noted names, dates, signs, and spiritual forces acting between us. Today you will find out if you are part of the 4 signs that carry this divine brand. Get ready to dive into a truth that has been hidden for centuries, but is now being brought to light, because perhaps you are among those who have been touched by God to protect souls. But before revealing these sacred names, comment below your sign below. It may be that this mission is exactly yours, and you never knew it so far. So before we continue, write here in the comments, what is your sign? This may seem simple, but it is no coincidence that you have come to this video. There is a spiritual reason, a synchronicity that brought you to this message now. Commenting on your sign is not just an interaction, it is an act of recognition, a symbolic step that activates your presence on the spiritual plane where this mission happens. And if, throughout this video, something deeply touched your heart, if you feel goosebumps, remember inexplicable experiences, or recognize patterns that lived in silence, so you need to leave your like, because this gesture helps spread this revelation to other souls that also need to awaken. The mission of protecting is not lonely. It is collective, connected by shared signs, words, and intuitions. Also, subscribe to the channel right now. This is not just a suggestion, it is a call. Because in the next few videos we will reveal not only the chosen signs, but the hidden gifts each carries, the surrounding spiritual dangers, and the karmic cycles that need to be broken. Here, each new content is more than a video. It is a piece of the puzzle of its spiritual existence. Remember, nothing you feel is in vain. No feeling is random. No pain came without purpose, and what you will hear now can change the way you see yourself, your destiny, and your true mission in this world. Let's continue, because the names of the 4 signs chosen by God are about to be revealed. Have you ever felt that you were placed on this earth to protect someone, even without knowing why? As if your soul has already carried this purpose since even before you were born? As if something inside you simply knew, a silent intuition, an inexplicable certainty, a call that doesn't come from outside, but echoes deep in its essence. Maybe, since I was a child, you already felt that there was something different about you. While other people lived automatically, you were the type you watched the most, felt more, absorbed the pain of others, thrilled with stories that no one else understood. And when something happened to someone close, it was you who perceived before. A strange dream, a shiver without reason, a feeling that I needed to be present. Coincidence? Not for those who carry a spiritual mission. Often, those born with this gift is called too sensitive, dramatic, intense. But what few understand is that this kind of sensitivity is not weakness. It is a spiritual antenna. People like you capture invisible signs, feel heavy atmospheres, know when something is wrong, even if no one has said anything. Have you ever tried to explain this and felt misunderstood? Have you ever had that feeling of carrying a weight that wasn't yours? To cry for a pain that you didn't even know where it came from? This is the call of the guardians of souls. They were not sent to earth by chance. Strategically positioned in families, cities, friendship circles, and relationships to fulfill a silent mission, protecting. And this protection is not just physical. She is spiritual, emotional, energetic. Have you already pushed someone out of a danger she didn't see herself? Already prevented something bad without knowing how I knew it was going to happen? Have you ever had your feeling confirmed afterwards? Edgar Cayce, the Sleeping Prophet, said that certain signs of the zodiac are alive channels of a higher force. Not only do they exist, they vibrate at another frequency. They receive instructions during dreams, see symbols where others see chance, and have a direct connection with plans that most people do not even imagine that exist. These signs were chosen to protect because their souls have already undergone spiritual experiences in other lives. They have been curators, counselors, seers, earthly angels, and even if they are in human bodies today, their souls carry the traces of the mission that has never ended. Maybe that's why you feel tired for no reason, as if you always lived on alert, as if you need to be strong for everyone, even when you are exhausted. This is because the guardians do not rest like others. They are energetically summoned whenever a close soul collapses. They are the first to notice when something is about to collapse. Their presence is like a protective field. Even without saying anything, even without knowing what is happening, they transmit a safety energy. It is as if a part of the sky accompanies them where they go. But this gift, this mission, also has a price, because feeling too much means suffering too much. Loading the pain of others requires a kind of force that cannot be seen with the eyes. And that is why many of the chosen ones go through phases of loneliness, doubt, silence. God did not forget them. On the contrary, God is preparing them, because those who were called to protect souls first need to know their wounds, so that they become empathy and healing bridges. It is not uncommon for these signs to live moments of spiritual confusion, that they feel that they do not belong to this world, look to the sky and ask themselves, why do me? But the universe never chooses by chance. Edgar Cayce said these guardians have soul contracts, agreements made before birth. They knew, at some level, that they would come to the world to face evidence, challenges, deep pain, but they also knew they would be rewarded with something no other soul has, the power to protect other lives through spiritual vibration. They were programmed to hold the light when everything around seems dark, to guide others during the night of the soul, to feel the invisible and react before chaos manifests itself. Have you ever felt a pain came to wake you up? That trauma made you realize that there was something beyond suffering? Have you noticed that after each fall you come back more clearly, more strongly, with more light? These are signs that you are being cut, prepared, remembered from your true origin. Not everyone can handle this path. He is narrow. He demands surrender, faith, and courage. But those who persist, awaken. And when they awaken, they become headlights for those who are still lost in the darkness. Now tell me, have you felt that? You have realized that at critical moments of your life, or the life of someone nearby, a force made you act, feel, intuit, as if something bigger was using you. As a channel? If so, write here in the comments, I'm a guardian. Or if you are still in doubt, write, I feel the call. These phrases are not just words, they are spiritual stamps. And in the next few minutes, you will find out if your sign is among the 4 chosen by God for this sacred mission. But beware, what you will hear now can change everything. So if something inside you already made you act silent, without waiting recognition, just because you needed to be there, maybe that's more than empathy. Perhaps it is a spiritual activation. The chosen ones are not announced with trumpets, nor go around saying they are different. They feel, they know. They carry the invisible with a naturalness that few understand. Sometimes this manifests itself in a subtle way, a sudden intuition that made you change your way, an uncontrollable boost of calling someone well the moment she needed the most, or that intense feeling that there was something wrong, even when everything seemed calm on the surface. And most of the time, all this happens in silence, without stage, without audience, because the souls who came with the mission of protecting do not seek attention. They seek alignment with what they feel right. Perhaps this is why, throughout your life, you have realized that people look for you when they are lost, that friends, family, or even strangers open with you as if they already knew that there is welcome there, as if your presence created a safe field where truths can be said, where pains find room to breathe, where even what seems without solution begins to dissolve. And this is not just emotional strength, this is spiritual energy. It is the vibrational signature of those who carry an old mission, being a shield and refuge, to care of the invisible, protect what is beyond the physical look. And even when you do not consciously realize, there is something bigger moving you. You feel it in the details, in the shiver that comes without explanation, in the look that crosses yours and seems to ask you for help without words, in the dreams that warn you, in repetitive signs that appear in everyday life, such as numbers, sounds, patterns. All of this are reminders, called spiritual awakeners. Edgar Cayce believed that souls with these characteristics came to the world with a contract signed with light, that even if they lost for a while, they would at some point remember what they are, and at that moment, the mission begins to manifest itself more strongly. Life comes to look like a sequence of synchronicities. The pains gain meaning, the falls become passages, and unconditional love becomes the natural language of the soul. But beware, do not confuse this mission perfectly. Many who carry this energy also face deep crises, doubts, phases of isolation, and even spiritual revolt. It is not because they are higher, but because they are being shaped to carry light in dark places. God does not send anyone to this kind of mission. He sends the strong, the resilience, those who can reborn every time the world tries to erase them. And it is precisely this silent force that differentiates the four chosen signs. They are not the most popular or the most admired in traditional astrology. They are the most sensitive, the deepest, those who carry the mystery within themselves. Some do not even recognize themselves as protectors, but everyone has already felt at some point that they were placed there for a reason. These signs have a different spiritual structure. They have access to emotional portals that others do not access. They capture invisible frequencies, connect with spiritual dimensions through dreams, visions, physical pains that do not belong to them, and even manifestations in the body that doctors cannot explain. This is because the mission of protecting souls requires a total opening of the energy field. That's why sometimes it seems that you feel everything at the same time. And that is also why you need to learn to protect yourself, because those who protect also need to be protected. So if you have already faced situations where you felt drained after listening to someone, if you have been exhausted after trying to help without understanding why, know, this is not weakness. It is evidence of its sensitive and powerful spiritual nature. And protecting souls does not mean solving everything to others. It means being energetically present, spiritually, emotionally, being a channel of light, even when everything seems to fall apart, being the one who listens when no one else hears, who perceives the invisible when everyone is distracted, that intuits dangers before they manifest themselves, and that, even without understanding how, they can change the route of those who were about to fall. If you have gotten here and felt that this video is describing parts of your soul that you didn't even know how to explain, if something vibrated in your chest, if you felt the skin shivering, or remembered specific moments of your life while listening to those words, then you need to leave a signal here in the comments. Write, I carry this mission, or I already protected a soul, not just to interact, but as a vibrational seal, a way of declaring the universe that you recognize your mission. If you are still in doubt, write, I feel something different inside me, because these words create a collective field of spiritual recognition where similar souls meet, even if they have never seen each other. And when you comment, you not only activate the video algorithm, you also activate a frequency. You respond to a call. Now, take a deep breath, because in what comes next, we will reveal the first of the 4 signs chosen by God for this invisible mission to protect souls. And maybe it's yours. You need to know that everything that is being said here is not only come from popular interpretations or beautiful phrases about spirituality. This revelation carries the weight of something much bigger, a deep knowledge that goes beyond the limits of time and logic. And it is at this point that a figure enters that completely changed the way many awakened souls see his mission on earth. Edgar Cayce. You may have heard of him as the sleeping prophet. But what does that really mean? Cayce was not an ordinary astrologer, not just a medium with generic predictions. He was a channel aware of hidden spiritual truths, a being that accessed superior dimensions in a state of deep trance and brought precise information about past lives, soul purpose, spiritual plans, and especially on divine contracts that certain people carry with light. Among so many revelations made by him, one of the most impactful concerning astrology, but not the astrology of the ego, shallow, maps made to entertain. Cayce saw the signs as coded spiritual marks, soul codes, celestial portals left by God so that we may, when we embody, have imprinted on us the essence of the mission we came to fulfill. According to him, within the zodiac, there are 4 signs that were directly marked by divine light, not just to live, but to protect. They are the guardians of human spirituality. They were sent with the gift of extreme sensitivity, sharp intuition, and energy empathy. They carry within themselves the ability to feel what no one feels, hear what is not said, and realize the truth that is beyond words. And this perception is not a chance of fate. It is a purpose, an ancestral program that makes them keep the flame on at times when everything seems to fall apart. Cayce said these signs are linked to what he called spiritual lineages of light. In other words, they are souls who have been reincarnating for centuries, often in guide positions, healer, master, protector, intermediate between visible and invisible. These are souls who have already served as bridges between worlds. And so, even in human bodies, they continue to carry this same essence. It is important to understand that Cayce did not speak of signs as behavioral labels. He did not say, for example, sign of fire is impulsive, air sign is rational. For him, the signs were heavenly ways through which the soul descends and manifests itself on earth. Each sign has a spiritual frequency, a cosmic mission, a function within the harmony of the universe. And God's 4 signs to protect souls have an even more delicate function, sustaining energy balance in times of chaos. They are the ones who, even unknowingly, prevent collapses, guide crowds in silence, convey spiritual strength with a simple look. And that is why many of them suffer in silence, because protecting souls also means carrying bales that are not yours, feeling pains that have no explanation. Perceive the suffering of the other as if it were yours. Cayce saw this as a call, not as a punishment. For him, these experiences were evidence that the spiritual mission was already underway, even without the person being fully aware of it. Many of those who belong to these 4 signs go through intense phases of emotional exhaustion. They do not understand why they feel so tired, even without making so much physical effort. They feel unnamed nostalgia, as if they miss something they never lived in this life, a spiritual void that seems not to be filled with nothing ground. This, according to Cayce, is the echo of the ancient soul, trying to remember where it came from. It is the spiritual heart missing the dimension from which it left. And this feeling, however painful as it may seem, is one of the main signs that the soul carries a spiritual contract of protection, a divine seal, a sacred memory that is not here by chance. Cayce's revelations also pointed out that these souls wake up gradually. They do not become aware of the mission overnight. There is a time, a cycle, a call, and every pain, every fall, every moment of loneliness, all this is part of the process. It is as if the universe were activating layers of consciousness gradually. The soul recognizes itself in the signs, the right words in synchronics in meetings that seem common, but carrying hidden messages. Nothing happens by chance when it comes to the chosen ones, not even listening to this message now. This may be your activation. It may be that the words you are listening to now are opening a portal inside you, because that's exactly how the spiritual guardian's awakening begins, with a revelation that, instead of just informing, remember. And if during this listening you felt that something began to move inside your heart, if your breath changed, if an old emotion came to light, if images of your life began to emerge as flashes, then you may be among the 4. If this is happening now, write in the comments, I remember, or, if I'm feeling it is still the beginning, write, I'm awakening. These words act as spiritual anchors. Do not underestimate the power to declare what your soul feels. They are not just phrases. They are vibrational alignment commands. In moments, I will reveal the first of the 4 signs marked with this sacred mission. But before that, watch carefully what you are feeling now, because the answer you seek may be within you for a long time. Now that you have understood the spiritual context revealed by Edgar Cayce, the time has come to open the portals and reveal the 4 signs marked with the most silent and powerful mission of the Zodiac: protect souls. And when we talk about spiritual protection, we are not just referring to visible gestures or heroic actions. We are talking about something deeper, more subtle, more vibrational, a mission that reveals itself in silence, empathy, pain transformed into light, the intuition it guides and the presence it heals in the soul it sustains. And among the 12 signs, 4 were chosen for a clear reason. Their souls carry a specific energy configuration, made to feel, filter, escape, and raise. These people do not go unnoticed on the spiritual plane, even if they are often invisible to the eyes of the world. We started with Cancer, the emotional guardian. This sign not only feels, it absorbs. Cancerians are like spiritual sponges. They capture the emotions of the environment, even when no one is saying anything. And the most impressive? They welcome this pain as if it were yours, not to overwhelm, but to transmute. The home of a Cancer is a vibrational sanctuary. This is where the invisible finds peace, where traumas calm down, where the spirit finds lap. No wonder people feel better just because they are close to a Cancer. Often, they cannot explain why the sudden exhaustion or the emotions that arise out of nowhere. But this is because they are acting as true healing channels, even unconsciously. In other words, many angels act through Cancerians. They are arms of light extended to the earth, which protect with affection, listen with the heart, and hold the soul of others, even when their own are tired. Then we have Scorpion, the invisible protector, a sign feared by many, poorly interpreted by others, but deeply revered on the spiritual plane. Scorpios hold portals. This means that they have access to shadow and light dimensions, moving between extremes that most people avoid. They are excellent knowledge of pain and regeneration. Therefore, when a Scorpio protects someone, he does so not only with strength but in depth. He feels evil before he happens. He perceives dense energies approaching. And the most surprising thing is that often he himself attracts these energies to himself as a shield, as a barrier, as a way to prevent them from reaching those who would not have the strength to face them. Scorpion carries the gift of spiritual transmutation, of the alchemy of the soul. They are not afraid of pain. They were already trained by her. Therefore, when a fragile soul approaches, Scorpio becomes the invisible guardian who faces what is needed in the shadows, so that the light can continue flowing to the other. The third sign among the chosen is Aquarium, the sentry of humanity. Unlike the previous two, which operate in more emotional and intuitive fields, Aquarius protects with spiritual wisdom. Its gift lies in the expanded view, in cosmic consciousness, access to spiritual ideas and technologies that can literally save lives. Aquarians are connected to the upper plane almost naturally. From an early age, many feel that they do not belong to this world. And in fact, this is true. Its souls come from other spheres, from other missions, other ages. But when reincarnating here, they bring with them a clear function, protecting the collective, awakening consciousness, activating sleeping starseeds. An Aquarian may not emotionally demonstrate the same heat as Cancer or Scorpion, but its mission is as intense as sustaining mental fields of healing, inspiring inner revolutions, breaking patterns that get souls of humanity. When an Aquarian says, something that makes you rethink life, this is not random. It is his mission in action. And finally, the fourth sign chosen, Fish, the silent shield, a sign that lives with feet on earth and soul in heaven. Pisces is the bridge between the worlds. Its sensitivity is not emotional, it is spiritual. He feels the layers no one feels. He hears what is not said. It captures what is not visible. Many Pisceans live with an injured heart, as they carry pain that is not yours. It is as if the suffering of the world drained into them. But this is not punishment. It is function. Pisces was programmed to receive, process, and relieve the vibrational weight of humanity. When someone around him is about to fall, Pisces feels in his body. Sometimes it gets sick for no reason. It has inexplicable insomnia, dreams of things that happen. It is because your soul is acting in the invisible. It is protecting those who do not know how to protect themselves. It is replacing the pain of others with unconditional love. It is the sign that most carries the energy of Christ, Buddha, and the great masters, because its mission is to love, protect, and dissolve evil in silence. If, as you heard these descriptions, you felt your heart accelerate, your skin shiver, or remembered situations that only now make sense, perhaps your sign is among these four. Either perhaps you are rising or have the moon or some strong point in these signs. The important thing is not just the astral chart. It is the call you feel in the body, soul intuition. If anything awakened inside you, write in the comments, I carry this energy, or I'm an emotional guardian. I'm a silent shield. I feel the call to protect. These phrases act as spiritual codes that anchor their mission. You can choose the one that resonates most with your essence, or create your own. The most important thing is to declare, because words have power. And right now, as you comment, other souls who share the same mission are being attracted to this same space. Nothing is by chance. Everything is aligning. And as follows, let's dive deeper into the spiritual signs that confirm if you are, in fact, one of the chosen to protect souls in this sacred journey. And now that you have known the 4 signs chosen by God according to Edgar Cayce's revelation, you may have felt something that is not explained with words, but with sensations. A light shriery that runs through the skin, an emotion that came suddenly, an ancient memory that emerged from nowhere, or maybe a strange feeling of, this is about me, because when a soul is being activated, the body responds before the mind. And this is how the spiritual awakening begins, with signs. Signs that were often ignored for a lifetime because no one taught that they were real, important, divine. But today you are here listening to this for a reason, and it is time to recognize that these signs can actually be proof that you are a true protector of souls. Maybe you are someone who has vivid dreams, almost as visions, dreams that look more real than the vigil, dreams where you are helping people, watching catastrophes before they happen, being guided by presence you feel but do not see. These dreams are not common. They are doors. These are messages from superior plans trying to remind you of your mission. Many times you wake up tired, as if you had lived a spiritual war at night. And in a way, that's exactly what happens. Soul protectors act in parallel dimensions while sleeping. They are taken to spiritual places where they help lost, disoriented, trapped in pains that could not leave behind. Have you ever felt that? Have you woke up crying and didn't know why? Have you ever had the impression of living something during sleep that no one around you would understand? Keep these questions inside your heart, because they matter more than you think. Another clear sign is the sudden chill, especially when it is close to certain people. It is not that common chill because of cold or superficial emotion. It is a shiver that comes from the soul, an energy discharge that crosses your body when there is some dense energy around, or, on the contrary, when you are facing someone who also carries a rare light. Soul protectors have such keen vibrational sensitivity that they can detect spiritual presences, changes in the energy field of an environment, and even the hidden emotional state of someone who pretends to be well. Do you feel you can read people without their say anything? Sometimes you even want to be wrong, but you know it's right. When this sensation is repeated throughout life, it is not common intuition. It is channeling. It is your spiritual field acting as a radar of protection. You may also have lived situations when something bad was about to happen, but an invisible force moved you. Suddenly, he decided not to leave the house, change the route. He felt he should call someone. It has arrived in time to prevent greater pain. And then he thought, why did I do that? But deep down, you knew. The universe used you as an instrument of protection. The true spiritual guardians are guided by something greater than logic. They don't have to understand. They just feel, obey, and act. And most of the time, they do this not to mention anyone. They do not count because they know they would not be understood. And they don't expect applause because the mission has never been about the ego. It was always about the soul. Another signal that appears frequently is exhaustion for no apparent reason. You may be in an environment and, out of nowhere, feel extreme tiredness, or get headache after talking to someone specific, or feel your energy literally being sucked in certain places. This is because you are an energy transmute. Souls that have been spiritually marked to protect other souls carry a natural ability to absorb the density of a place and try to balance it vibrationally. But the physical body feels the impact of it. And if you have not yet learned to protect yourself spiritually, these effects become increasingly intense. Many people like you seek physical reason for these sensations, but the exams point out nothing. Medicine does not explain why the answer is in the soul. Have you been through this? Have you ever felt sick with soul, even with your health apparently in order? It is also common that spiritual tectors face isolation phases, as if suddenly people would move away, or as if you lose interest in places you once frequented. Sometimes loneliness comes as forced silence, but behind it, There is a greater purpose. The universe is cleaning its field. It is taking over the excess of noise so that you can hear the call of your soul. During these phases, many people report to feel like reconnecting with nature, with the sky, with the water. And this is no coincidence. Elements of nature help balance the spiritual frequency. If you feel peace when looking at the sea, touching the earth, listening to the wind, it's because your soul is going back to the place of vibrational origin. And finally, there is a silent and powerful sign, the inexplicable desire to help, even when you are tired, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you know you will get hurt in the process. You just can't ignore the suffering of others. It is as if something bigger pulled you to intervene, even if no one knows, even if no one sees. You are not doing this for lack or need, for acceptance. It is doing because this is its spiritual nature, and denying this is how to stifle your essence. If you live this internal fight between helping and preserving yourself, know that you are not alone. And if, throughout this stretch, you felt that many of these experiences are yours, write in the comments, "I recognize the signs," or "I was marked spiritually." If you want, share a moment of your life when something inexplicable has happened, something that only now makes sense. After everything you heard here, your words may be the sign that someone else needs to wake up. And next time, we will deepen even more about what happens when these signs are ignored and what can weaken the mission of a soul protector. So take a deep breath and stay with me on this journey. There is still much to be revealed. And now that you have recognized some of the spiritual signs that confirm your mission as a protector of souls, it is time to bring to light a delicate but essential truth. Because as powerful as the gift you carry, it is not invulnerable. The spiritual mission that vibrates in your soul can be silenced, not because it disappears, but because you, without realizing it, begins to disconnect from it. And that doesn't happen at once. The disconnection begins gradually. It starts when you try to fit too much in the world, when it gives up your truth to fit the mold of others, when you stop following what you feel to follow what you expect, when she shuts her intuition because she looks too strange, when it adapts to environments, people, routines, and discourses that are misaligned with their vibrational essence. Spiritual weakening is not shouted, but in silences. It manifests itself when you stop dreaming, when its sensitivity begins to seem uncomfortable, when you doubt your intuition and feel ridiculous to believe in the signs, when you start denying your own nature to please who doesn't see the beauty of what you are. This is dangerous, because protectors cannot forget who they are. They do not work out of purpose. When they try to be like others, they lose their connection to what makes them unique. And the price of this is high. The gift begins to go out. Dreams stop coming. Intuition becomes confused. The signs seem to disappear. The energy, which once flowed like a living current, becomes stagnation. The brightness of the gaze will disappear. And the saddest, you start to doubt yourself. This process generates a deep void, a feeling of being lost, even when everything in appearance is right. It is as if you are cheating, even unintentionally. The soul feels. She tries to warn with subtle symptoms, discouragement without reason, insomnia, light sadness but persistent, existential crises that seem to have no root. And all this is often just a sign that you are away from your axis, far from your mission, far from the vibrational truth that brought you to this world. Spiritual protectors were not born to live on autopilot. They were not born to be equal. They were born to support the invisible, even if the world does not understand that. And when you deny it, your energy field begins to get sick, because protecting souls is not an ego choice. It's a soul delivery, and the soul charges with love but also with intensity. Have you ever felt that at certain times in your life began to go out? Have you ever lived stages where nothing made sense, even though it was surrounded by people with everything apparently good? Have you tried to fit into environments where your light seemed too much? Was your intensity seen as exaggeration? Your sensitivity as weakness? Perhaps at these times, you have silenced your essence to protect yourself, but this protection is illusory, because what really protects you, this is exactly what makes you different. Your intuition is your shield. Your sensitive heart is your radar. Your connection with the spiritual is your map. Denying this is like ripping your own script. And when this happens, you not only feel lost, you lose some of the mission you have promised to accomplish before you are born. There is a spiritual urgency at this time when we are living. Many protectors are awakening. Others, dormant, have not yet understood why they feel so much pain, so much weight, so much confusion. And others, already awake, are being tested. They are being challenged to remember who they are even when everything around seems to require them to forget. But the true guardians cannot forget, because when they forget, a whole spiritual network suffers. The gifts you received are not just yours. They are part of a larger gear. Your presence in certain places, your word at certain times, your silent energy next to those who are collapsing. All this is more important than you think. And when you disconnect yourself, leave empty spaces, places that only you could fill. This is why, right now, perhaps your soul is feeling a stronger call. A restlessness that does not pass. A desire to go back to you, to rediscover the light you have always had, but it may have hidden. To resume the rituals that reconnect you. Silent prayers, herbal baths, contact with nature, intuitive writing, meditation, reading spiritual messages, deep listening to your inner voice. All of this are tools that rekindle your mission. But before any technique, you need to remember, and what weakens you is precisely to forget. Forget that you are a channel, that you were chosen, that you are not here by chance. You do not need permission to be who you always went again. The light never left you. She just retired, hoping you call her back. And now that you know what can weaken you spiritually, now that your conscience has touched this truth, is it time to ask yourself, I have remembered who I am? Or have I tried to hide from what I was born to be? If any part of you felt a shiver when hearing it, then comment below, I refuse to forget who I am. Or if you prefer, write, I'm ready to remember and resume my mission. These words are vibrational stamps. These are powerful statements that help you realize your frequency. And in the following, we will continue this journey, revealing how to strengthen your spiritual gifts and how to activate your mission to the full. Because your role in the collective awakening is greater than you think. If this message came to you, if the words that echoed in this video have awakened something inside, if throughout this time watching you felt goosebumps, tears in your eyes, or that strange certainty that all this was about you, so understand a deeply spiritual thing. It didn't happen by chance. The universe never wasted signs. God never sends a message for nothing. And souls with spiritual mission never stumble on the wrong way. You were brought here because you needed to hear, because your soul is being called, and maybe you had been ready for a long time. This vibrational confirmation was missing. This silent reminder, this reunion with what you already knew, but it had buried under the weight of the world. This mission does not start now. She just remembers continuing, because somewhere inside, you already live this truth. You already protect, already feel before, already take care without ordering. You already realize what no one has the courage to say, already acts spiritually even without understanding the details. You don't have to understand everything with your mind. Spiritual mission is not explained, it recognizes itself. She pulsates, she vibrates. And now that you heard, you remembered, that you were touched. You have two options. Keep ignoring the signs and slowly turn off your light, or accept your true nature and allow it to guide you with all the strength that only the truth has. This choice is yours, and she is sacred. The mission of protecting souls is silent but powerful. It is invisible but intense. It is done in the subtle plane but impacts the physical plane. Sometimes a single word of yours prevents a collapse. A look of yours sustains a heart that was about to give up. Your presence, even in silence, cures pain that you can't even name. And that's why you need to remember that every day. Because the world will try to distract you, will try to harden you. You will want you to fit. You deny that you fall asleep. But now you know, you have been called. And the call, of course, from here, you don't walk alone anymore. Others like, you are awakening. Other soul protectors are listening to this same message now elsewhere, with other stories, but with the same spiritual frequency. And that is why we need to form this current, this common nighty, this living lineage of guardians of light, which operate not to be seen, but so that others do not lose themselves. Its mission is grand, even if it seems small, and each time you accept this, your vibration aligns, your intuition strengthens, and the universe begins to conspire so that you are always where you need to be. If at some point on this journey you felt touched, you felt like you were hearing something I had been waiting for years, so comment below now. I accept my mission to protect. These words are more than a comment. They are an energy seal, a vibrational activation that reverberates within you and around you. And if you know someone who also has this light, who also feels different, who also suffers silent, who has always taken care of everyone, who seems to carry the world on his back, share this video with this person. This message may be what it needs to remember who it is. And if you felt you were welcomed here, if you want to keep diving into this awakening, subscribe right now, because in the next video I will reveal something that you may have never heard about your sign. Which signs carry the gift of breaking spiritual curses, curses that cross generations, ancestral codes that only prepared souls can cut. Perhaps your sign is among them. Perhaps this gift is yours too, and you will want to be here to find out. So write in the comments, I accept my mission, or I'm a guardian, or even I'm ready to remember. You can choose the one that most touches your soul, or writing your own truth. The important thing is to declare, because every mission begins with a choice, and yours is happening now. Don't stop, don't go back. You are exactly where it should be, and everything that comes next will remind you even more from who you really are. If you stayed here, if you followed each word, every revelation, every vibration that crossed this video, so you are part of this journey, it says a lot about your soul. And now I want to make you a direct invitation heart to heart. Subscribe to the channel. Yes, because if this message has touched you, the next videos will deepen you even more in this spiritual awakening. Here, each new content is a portal, a new memory, a new step in your mission. And if you have come to the end, leave your like now. It is more than a support gesture. It is an energy confirmation that you received, felt, and recognized what was said here. Your like helps this message to reach more souls that also need to wake up. And comments down here. I went to the end because my soul recognized this truth. Write just like this. This phrase is not just a comment. It is a statement of presence, courage, active spiritual conscience. Let's see how many of us walk together until the end. And last, but perhaps the most important now, watch the next video here on the screen on the left side. He is the continuation of this call, the next key, the next revelation. Click now, because the journey is not over yet. It is just starting, and you are ready for what comes next.